Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Wanted to just have a quick live. I don't know how long we'll go here tonight, but obviously reacting to the Texas victory, 51-3 over Louisiana Monroe. Arch Manning's first start. In here talking ball with you guys. So as you come into the chat, make sure you hit the like button. Chris, it is a great day to be a Texas fan. Number one team in the country handling their business as we see many of our rivals on the struggle bus, A&M and more importantly OU. OU goes down to Tennessee. We may talk about that a little bit later. Did have that game on the second screen. But talking Texas right now and takeaways from this game. If whatever takeaways you may have, I don't know how much we learned versus just getting guys more reps and playing a lot of guys and just having them you know experience and whatnot and trying to get out of there healthy as we start conference play next week against Mississippi State, a Mississippi State team that just lost to Florida, and Florida completed 93% of their passes today, and they lost Blake Shapen, their starting quarterback, looks like for the season. So Jeff Lebby and that crew, they are on tough times, and they're going to have to come into Austin for an SEC opener next week. That's going to be a lot to deal with. It's going to be a lot to deal with. So, but again, as for tonight, the team, I'm going to start with the team. They've started all of these games really well. I haven't seen a whole bunch of drag, and that doesn't mean that they've started the games without mistakes. But in terms of the energy, in terms of playing hard, in terms of asserting their physicality and their dominance, I didn't see any drop off tonight than I've seen in any other game. I really felt as though on both sides of the ball, guys are flying around, um, just looking to make plays, right? So obviously, Arch, his first drive, he throws the interception, trying to do too much, trying to shrug the guy off. And I talked about this on the Bleacher Report show. He is a young guy, he's a young quarterback, and getting used to game speed, getting used to certain scenarios. Quinn did the same thing, funny enough, against ULM a couple years ago. And but what I said was he's probably going to have a turnover early in the game, and that's exactly what we saw. And you want to see how the guys respond, right? That response, by the way, is important, right? Because the mental thing of settling yourself and Quinn has gotten really good at this of next play, next play, next play. That mental thing, though, is important because of what you saw in Norman tonight, by the way, because you can lose guys if that becomes a habit, right? So I wanted to see how Arch responds, and he responded exactly how I thought he would. Very aggressive, got into a rhythm. I know he didn't end the game great late statistically, and statistically speaking, it wasn't impressive today. 2 picks, only 15 and 29, but a lot of OMG throws, a lot of like I said, being aggressive, keeping his eyes downfield, and trying to showcase our playmakers, getting the ball to the playmakers. I mean, the thing that consistently stands out with this group of guys is how deep we are in terms of the weapons we have and how explosive this team can be. And Sark, I think Sark also understood the opponent we're facing, so there's a lot we can dial up just to be more aggressive, right? I mean, it's not like you're really scripting anything for ULM. You're running your base offense, but you're running it in a manner in terms of what you're trying to work on and kind of identify this week. I think the thing we were trying to work on was getting Arch comfortable and seeing what he wants to do, which is, he's comfortable throwing that deep ball and guys able to get behind the defense and our interior run game. I think there's a lot of emphasis on the interior run game today with a lot of things we saw. and getting Jaden Blue into a rhythm. I think he had 25 carries tonight after not playing last week, knowing that Quintravier Wisner wasn't playing. So getting all those guys just reps in the rhythm was important. So let me check on the comments here. And before I do that, let me give a quick shout out to the sponsor, Autograph. Shout out to Autograph. Make sure you guys download that app. Free app, helps the channel out. If you use that promo code FNAC24, it is available on the App Store as well as Google Play. Whatever you read, whatever you watch, whatever you listen to in terms of Texas content, just do it through there. Get rewarded for points, fan loyalty, true fan pricing for anything that you're looking for, whether it's access to tickets, merch, what have you, as well as giveaways and prizes. The more points you accumulate for being a fan and you're here at Fanatic Perspective, download Autograph. Great company to be in line with. Let's see the comments here because I want to talk about everything. How you feeling tonight, Steven? I'm feeling good, especially watching my football team. And tonight was this is the first home game I didn't go to. So I had all the screens on and I'm watching Texas. I'm watching a lot of these teams in the country, especially teams we're going to have to be, we're going to have to obviously face. Our next two games are Mississippi State and OU. So definitely watching those guys closely and seeing where we are. And I'm very pleased with where we're at program wise right now. And how can you not be, right? I mean, last year we were winning games, but we were having complaints about the sluggishness and the slow starts and all those type of things. I mean, guys, we were 28, 35 points in the first half. We scored 50. It's now 4 straight home games, I believe, where we've scored 50 points. I mean, it's a bad football team we play, but I don't care. I mean, that's Texas is playing good football right now. So that's what I'm looking to see. Arch is going to have growing pains. I think too, and there's going to be a lot. I've already seen the clip going viral. Quinn on the sidelines talking to his guys. Anybody that's here that's a true Texas fan never really questioned anything. Like, I think everybody was pretty aware that this was Quinn's football team and where Quinn has been as in terms of his development as a player. I know that there's varying levels of Arch fanatics out there, but today was just similar to Malik Murphy last year. The only difference is Malik Murphy had to play conference games when he got in there. His first time was like was it BYU? He played BYU and Kansas State. So and you saw growing pains there. So with Arch, I mean, at least he got to come in against ULM. My point is, no matter who it is, no matter if it's Quinn Ewers, if it's Malik last year, Arch this year, you need time to get ramped up. You're gonna have those moments, but you're also gonna have those moments where you see the talent, right? And so that's what the team is there for. And I thought the run game really helped them out a lot. You could tell they were really working on physicality in the red zone area, especially knowing what's to come in the next few weeks. And then obviously defensively, they continue to stand on business. They have allowed 22 points in their non-conference slate. We're 4-0. We've allowed 22 points this season. I believe we've only given up 2 touchdowns. So, and that's with also guys on defense being in and out. Like Derek Williams didn't even play tonight. I don't think Jelani McDonald played either. I think he's still out. So that's with people, we're not even full go defensively. All these nobody games look exactly the same. Yep. Yeah. No, this is common, right? And I said this last week, but everybody was excited. He's going to be that's a common even a Manning, right? it's different going through progressions in high school than it is going through progressions at this level. And it's going to happen again when you get to the NFL level. So, and sometimes his feet were a little slow too. Other times Arch had very good footwork, but there was times, the Jaden Blue interception, he was very flat-footed. Now the ball hit Jaden in the hands. He did throw a rocket, but he was kind of flat-footed at times in the pocket. So those are things he's a film junkie, so he's going to crunch that tape, and now he's going to be able to see himself on film. It's different. He's been studying Quinn the whole time. Every time they go in the room, it's mostly about Quinn. Now he's going to be able to study himself. And it's different when you're studying yourself and you're seeing your own tendency. You start to notice certain things about yourself that you maybe were not aware of, right? So uh, this is a great scenario for Texas for him to get those reps and to realize those things and clean those up in a game like this, right? So and if we do what we're supposed to do, he's gonna be playing next week. If we do what we're supposed to do against Mississippi State, he's gonna be right back on the field next week. That's my expectation based upon what I'm seeing from Mississippi State. So let's see. I'm not tripping on the screens. I mean, the screens is a signature part of our offense. We're not going to run those type of screens when we're not seeing any type of pressure and we're not playing against teams to slow down their rush. I mean, there's a reason to run screens. It's not just to hide your quarterback. That's not a Sarkisian way of doing business. He's always going to run screens. Today, though, when you're playing a team like this, like I said, this is a tune-up game. You're working on certain things. Yeah, the OU's offensive line, horrendous. Let the media know yeah, agree. But let me say this too, Cornstar. But if the team's the chatter stuff, this team is so much more mature over the years. They've grown so much. Gary Patterson has talked about this on Twitter that I don't worry about the rat poison stuff in the media. I honestly don't. It's weird. Even like I don't have those nerves about, oh, is this gonna be too much get to their heads or anything like that? Because every time they come out there, they look like a bunch of rabid dogs looking like people are trying to fight for snaps. And I feel like Texas is like now realizing, yo, the biggest opponent we have is our own selves. And it sounds arrogant to say that, but it's the truth. And I think they really understand that. That's why I haven't worried about a letdown. I really haven't. I'm not saying that to overlook opponents or anything like that, but like the energy that they are playing with on a week to week basis has been fantastic. And if they're going to bring that, I don't care what mistakes they make because they're too talented. They're going to play themselves out of any situation. If they're flying around like that, because people are going to make mistakes just by you being overwhelmed by our team speed, especially on defense. Look at how General Booty was out there running for his life tonight. The ball just popping up all over the place because people are overwhelmed when you get on the field and they're cutting off angles and people are flying at you. Only thing you really worry about the defense is still the interior, right? I do think that is something that is still a question mark and something that can be exploited by the right team. But sideline to sideline or coming forward, see ball, hit ball, this team is lights out defensively. Agreed, Drew. Agreed. They I mean, it's one of the closer teams I've seen. Just, I know I wasn't there today, but the games I've seen over the last being in person the last few weeks, the interaction on the sideline is A1. And when something negative happens, they're holding each other accountable. they're not even waiting for the coaches anymore. Not to say that the coaches aren't holding guys accountable, but like there's just a different uh, realm of communication that's happening. And the young guys are engaged, by the way. The young guys are very much engaged. Like Anthony Hill, who is, what do you even classify Anthony Hill as? Because he's one of the main people talking, but he's a young guy, but he's clearly somebody in a position of leadership. And he's talking and he's firing guys up and you get lay fouls out here making plays every week now when he gets in the game. That's what I'm saying. Dudes are fighting for snaps. Forget the opponent. I'm trying to get some tape. So it's like, yo, if I go in, I gotta make a play, or else the two dudes behind me can make plays. So I got a ball when I get in there. I gotta make sure I get the right calls when I get in there. That's what we got now. If I screw up, PK and them are like, "Pip, come on out. We got 7 of y'all we can put in there." Kobe Black gets in the game. He's trying to crank somebody. You know why? Because he's trying to earn more snaps. He blew somebody up today. That's what time they're on. I'm telling you. That's what fires me up. Is seeing that development and culture within your program come to fruition. It'll come with time. It'll come with time. You guys have to understand, and you're right. You're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. He does have to do all that. But these are natural growing pains when you're dealing with what is Arch, 19 years old, 20 years old. He's not even of age. How much football has he played at this level? Right? We went through it with Quinn, and we had to go through it with Quinn when the whole team was growing. See, the thing is, Arch is in there with guys that have grown, even the offensive line. So they're going to be able to settle things. But when Quinn was growing, he was growing alongside a young Kelvin Banks, a young, a young DJ Campbell. All these guys, we're all growing together. So it's a little bit different now. I'm gonna catch up on the comments. Offense is averaging 47 and a half through 4 games. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. They said that brother Jackson Arnold is a butt. Well, we'll get to them. Don't worry. I do think that Mike Hawkins is going to be OU's quarterback moving forward, though. I think that's his football team now. I think that's his football team now. I don't know how you can go back to Jackson Arnold after today if you're OU. Just the look on his face on the sideline told me everything I needed to know. People still questioning Steve's play calling. Don't understand what he's also getting. Yeah. There's certain things they were working on today. I completely agree, D Train. Certain personnel, they really came. They wanted to get Jaden Blue going, and I think I think what he had 4 touchdowns today. That's for confidence. That's for production. Getting him lathered back up as the lead back, right? Because you don't want guys to go that long without playing. I mean, if you could have sat him today again, but then it's like, all right, we're really gonna go since Michigan without playing Jaden Blue. Like some of these guys need their numbers too. Let's call it a spade. They need their numbers too. So if I can get in there and ball and get the timing down with the O line, getting himself on film, seeing what he needs to work on, shoring up. We got to hit those wheel routes. Whoever it's on, there's meat on the bone. We left. We probably could have had. I think we had 28 at half. We probably should have had 42. Right. So there's some stuff they can clean up for sure that they saw on film. I agree, Quinn. Better running team can get to us. Better running team can't get to us. Chris, I'm going to give you a real quick take to answer your question. Give us your honest assessment. How you feel about the Georgia game? I'm not really concerned about the Georgia game right now. I if this is just my opinion, because I think we're gonna have to play Georgia multiple times. We could potentially have to play them 3 times, whether it's the SEC championship game and in the playoffs, or however things break down. Right? I got to see Georgia go to Bama and do we. That's going to be a war next week. Them going to Bama, that's a war. So we get to sit back and watch and take away whatever we take away from that, because Georgia may not even be who we think they are after that game. So we got to see how that plays out. Number one. Number two, throw the kitchen sink at OU. You need to beat OU. I don't care how bad they look today. You guys already know they spend every waking moment getting ready for us. And it used to be Oklahoma State. Now it's just us. So I don't care what's going on, especially with if they got some new juice with Michael Hawkins as their starting quarterback now, and it's not Jackson Arnold, and we don't even get to see Jackson Arnold. I'm throwing the kitchen sink at OU those 2 weeks, because the Georgia game, that's probably the first round. So, and I don't lose anything either way. And again, coming out of the Georgia Bama game, I got to see what Georgia is at this point, because I'm not going to say they've played with their food, because I'm not sure what they are offensively. I think they are phenomenal defensively, but offensively, I don't see the same scary team without Todd Monken, without Brock Bowers, Lad McConkey, Jermaine Burton, like all these guys they've had over the years, George Pickens. I don't see all that. But again, I'm gonna wait for Alabama to hold more judgment on that. Absolutely. I'm glad Arch had a day where he realizes he can work on things. I think he'll grow. Yeah, I mean, it's also humbling, right? I'm sure everybody's been singing his praises, all that this week. So to see again, man, not everything. Like, I can't get away with everything at this level, even against ULM. That play where he tried to pull the ball down and run and jump through somebody and do all this crazy stuff. Like, nah, bro, you can't do that at this level, even against a team like that. So those are things he'll, by next year, it's like, dang, I'm on it. What's up, our future? Good to see you here. Good to see you here. I agree. The Silas Bolden deep ball should not have been overturned. Now we know that later in that drive, Matthew Golden ended up catching his, so it ended up being a moot point. But for Silas Bolden, from a statistical standpoint, yardage and whatnot, and I'll put the stats up here in a little bit. I agree. To me, there was not enough evidence to overturn what they ruled on the field, which was a catch. Michael Taft baptized somebody else yet again. I'm glad he didn't get kicked out. I'm glad, Anthony Hill had a great game today. It was cool to see him. I've been saying, even with his responsibilities in the middle, he was so naturally good at generating pressure last year. I mean, he was one of our leaders in sacks. I still would find ways, and PK it's not Todd Orlando where he's blitzing guys, from Idaho every play, right? Like he's kind of conservative with when he sends his heaters. Now Nansen has helped mix some things in as well, but I think Anthony Hill is too good at that not to have it mixed in every now and again. I think they've done a really good job of that, as you saw tonight. Right. Imagine having a team. I agree, John Ratcliffe. Imagine having such a good team, you have to critique the backups. We were here not that long ago on this same YouTube channel where we were having very different post game conversations after playing teams like this. I'm not even talking about losses, I'm just talking about conversations. Very, 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 it's remarkable how quickly this is how quickly this has happened. D Train said, I didn't watch OU Tennessee yet. I recorded, but I know the score. What was Steve talking about? How Arnold? Yeah, he got benched. You'll see it. He got benched and he was disengaged. He was completely rattled. Um, and you could tell that it's the timing of the turnovers too when you see it. It's the timing of because the defense is getting him the ball. One of them happened, I think, inside the 5 yard line, and they're just fumbling the ball all over the place, like with just sheer goofiness. I mean, they opened the game almost fumbling, first snap of the game. So he clearly just was not settled. It was worse than what we saw with Spencer Rattler, in my opinion. That was worse. Steve, you think OU defense is going to shut Texas out or hold them? That's hilarious. You saw what Quinn Ewers did to that defense once he woke up last year. I think he completed 23 straight passes. So they hurt tonight. They hurt tonight. I know it. I can feel it. Yeah, the ULM tight end. I texted my buddy. I was like, when did they sign David Njoku? Who the hell was 88 out there? Like, bro, just he was so random, and then never saw him again. And that big old tight end. That was funny. Um, Orlando blitzing from Egypt. T.O. T.O. still causing havoc down in South Florida, man. Shout out to Todd Orlando. The milk just went bad. That's all. I agree. This team is mean. This is a mean football team. They're physical. Guys, did anybody watch did anybody watch the USC Michigan game today and how Michigan won that football game without throwing any forward passes until they threw like a drag route in the last drive? They won that game playing USC in the most old school Big Ten phone booth football way, literally to the last play when Mullings got into the end zone on 4th and goal. That was phone booth football, right? And our boys went up there in the phone booth, and we didn't just beat them in the phone booth. We beat them outside. We beat them inside. We beat them vertically. We beat them behind the line of scrimmage. We kicked their ass physically. So I'm just saying, that's a USC team that I even thought was pretty good, you know? And them dudes, Michigan still, that's what it says. It's not, you still got to respect them in the Big Ten. Yeah, they won with 32 yards passing. They went straight phone booth on USC. Crazy. Now, I do think that USC should have won the football game, and I do think that USC was the better overall team, but that doesn't matter when the key plays happen. That Colin Farrell movie. that Colin No, but it's true. They were beat when it mattered the most. But we didn't even let the game. The thing is, Texas came out and we showed our physicality in that game, but we also showed that's why we're number one team because we were there was no way. I was telling people there's no way Michigan will be able to keep up at that level, and we kind of called the dogs off at the end of the game if you really think about it. Jordan S, thank you for the super chat, man. You always showing love, man. Appreciate you from the Boss's Ranch days of well, how good is ULM really? To this is a true starter from the bottom. Now we're here story. Been an honor to take this ride with you and all of Horns Nation. Horns up. Also, anybody checked in on the OU fans? I'm gonna go and listen to Onikuno's stream and all my OU friends out there. I hope they're doing okay. I'm gonna go listen to the stream and lay my head down and just let their tears take me to rest because um I like I knew this was coming for them. And the delusion that was coming out of their mouths. I told even Jay, I expected it from Chris. I expected it from Seth and so many of the other OU fit. But when I heard Jay on Bleacher Report, and I'm gonna send the clip. When I heard him say Sooner Magic, when I asked, what are the football reasons for OU to beat Tennessee? Because they didn't have football reasons. The only football reason I would have come up with is our elite defense is gonna have to score points. Not only stop Tennessee, but they're have to generate and their defense is elite. I have nothing to say but good things about OU's defense, other than they can be had with explosives, which is true. But when I asked for football reasons of why they would beat Tennessee, brothers was telling me Sooner Magic. That's unacceptable. And that's when you know they in trouble because these people, most of them do know ball. So and if they when they're confident, they'll tell you. But when situations come up like this, they go, oh, it's Sooner Magic. You never know, blah blah blah. No, we know. We know you had no offense. You couldn't score against Houston. What made you think you finally played a grown man defensive line? Got killed today. Quarterback got hit so hard so many times he doesn't even want to be at school anymore. So I don't. I mean, that's me checking in on them is to say we tried to be nice and warn you guys this ass whooping was coming. And I don't care if they won by 10. I know some of them were tweeting. I can't believe even my boy JP talking about oh we won by 10. Nah, bruh. Y'all got bruh. Nah. Nah. This is we blue bloods. We can't talk like that. We watched the game, brother. That was ass whooping. Oh man. I couldn't believe it. And I love those guys. Those are my boys. We're all gonna talk when we play each other. And they still hold game over me until we play each other. They can still talk about their win last year with Dylan Gabriel. OU's defense will be a great test. I really like their defense. I really, really like their defense. And I thought their defense had every reason in the world to get tired tonight and make excuses. Why? Who wouldn't? When the offense is turning the ball over like that, and you have no run game, and your quarterback is turtled into a shell, what are you supposed to do? they kept fighting. So I respect it. And we will have a challenge. I agree. But to me, us playing against a defense like that, us playing against the Michigans, that's only going to get us better for the main goal. This is another thing too. Going back to the rat poison comment I made earlier, Steve Sarkisian in his press conference, somebody asked him about being ranked number one, and is he worried about that? Get to the head, and he actually said, in the old system, yeah, we'd have more conversations about it, and it would be more of a thing. But now in the 12-team playoff, he was like, I mean, I gotta make the playoffs. Like the it's cool being ranked number one, but I'm worried about the play. I'm thinking about the playoffs and the 12 team. So I think it actually puts, in a weird way, less pressure on Texas than years past. For example, like the BCS days, right? Because that's that, and for some college football purists, that's what made the game so unique, because every week technically was a playoff if you think about it. But right now, the era that we're in, it's like cool, but we're focused on working on this, and this because we're trying to win a national championship. That's their goal. They came up one game short last year. They're trying to win a national championship, and it's okay to say that. We the dark days are behind us, guys. This is a crazy deep team. Um, they have weaknesses, just like every team in the country does. It's still college football, but their their goal and their preparation and how they're playing these games is for later in the year. You can tell. Which defense do you respect or fear more? I would say OU. OU's defense has been better this year. Michigan's defense was really good today. Um, but Michigan had been having trouble getting pressure. And they did now. Michigan did get a pick six. Will Johnson came alive today. They're close, but OU defense to me, Peter, has been more consistent this year. But Sark Sark will have some stuff, especially in that 2 week period to get ready. Um, they'll have some stuff dialed up. But the other thing too is Josh Heupel. One could say he was being a little nice potentially to his former school. Who knows? But part of me is like, maybe Tennessee was really conservative offensively because they realized like it's so late. It's such a chore for OU to score. Why would we even put ourselves in that position? I mean, they fumbled the ball a few times. They had some turnovers. OU is they get pressure. Um, that's the name of the game for Bates, BB. That's what they do. But that aggressiveness can also be countered the same way that Anthony Joshua was countered today, and got knocked into oblivion when he's trying to finish. Oh boy! So I look at OU's defense the same way. Like, they gave up another explosive at the end of the game, but it got called back for a holding penalty that whatever. But like those penalties, Tennessee had what, 10 penalties for like 81 yards today? And honestly, the years we've played OU recently, we've been heavily penalized too, if I'm not mistaken. So it's also going to be kind of just staying out of our way in that regard, because the explosives are there when people try to create that type of pressure all the time. Eventually, you should have a counter to beat that. And there were a couple times tonight where Tennessee did, and they hit obviously on the big one to Dante Thornton for 70 yards. But I would say OU's defense. I like how all y'all just have all these thoughts about OU. I mean, they were front and center tonight. Let's also be real. Like, game day was there. Like, our front and center game was Michigan, and we were on the road against the national champs. Today was all about OU. They were in Norman. They had Blake Shelton. game day, you're playing a Tennessee team. What was that stat? Tennessee had 29 straight road losses against ranked teams. Was that the stat until today? Man, I was wrong about the BYU Kansas State game. Forgive me, BYU. Dead wrong. Nah, Roy, it was that bad. I hear you, Roy. And maybe they will. I don't know what they do after this. That because you could lose a locker room if you're a coach if you make the wrong decision. Because the players, you could tell, you could see the faces on the defensive kids that were like, "Yo, this is ridiculous. You're literally trying to keep us in the game, and this guy, I don't know if he has the shakes or what, but we can't have Michael J. Fox back there taking snaps for us. We got to get a real guy in here." So no disrespect to Michael J. Fox, but that was what we were seeing from Jackson Arnold. It was that bad. So I don't know, man. Yes, I saw Colorado rush the field against Baylor. I I don't have a problem with it only because Colorado's a bottom tier program. They were the worst Power Five school, and it's their first Big 12 game or first game back in the Big 12. We know they were in the Big 12 before, but their first conference win. Um, you know, Missouri rushed the field and they're ranked seventh in the country. That's nasty. So I'm not going. I'm not I don't know. I'm not the biggest fun police when it comes to rushing the field. If you're out there and you're trying to be with some ladies tonight, you go be rushing the field too. Let's not get it twisted. If you try to get some tonight, you go be rushing the field with everybody else. uh, yeah, the Colorado game was wild. That's the other thing too. It's the manner in which they won the game. You had Shador connect on a freaking Hail Mary, right? That gives you Cordell Stewart vibes. For those of you who don't remember Cordell Stewart to Michael Westbrook, go look it up. And then you had Travis Hunter, best football player in the country, make a play at the goal line for the freaking game. Like these guys are stars, man. It's crazy. Travis and both of them. But it's Baylor. I know it's Baylor. Bro, Colorado's been down worse. They're worse than Baylor, though. My thing is, I don't care. I don't really care. They're out there having fun. They thought they were doomed. So, like, if we're because right now what we're doing is we're looking at Baylor from the lens of a Texas fan. We're not on that level. we don't. There's nobody out here where we would rush the field. Like we would look ridiculous. But for them, when they were literally at the bottom, who cares? But that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people are like, well, Baylor stinks. Yeah, they're in the same boat as Kansas. Yeah, they've been down horrendously bad. Let me get to this super chat though. Anthony, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it, sir. All I know is This Red River rivalry, Texas better come with the same energy as OU does. They always show up fired up. Last year, you could see it from the first snap. Amen, brother. Amen. I'm gonna read this again because it's accurate. All I know is this Red River rivalry, Texas better come with the same energy as OU does. They always show up fired up. Last year, you could see it from the first snap. That's all I've ever said. We cannot be on our too cool for school energy when they coming in here and all they thinking about is us. And what I mean by that is very simple. I'm giving OU the same treatment we gave to Bama last year when we went to Tuscaloosa, the same treatment we gave to Michigan when we went to Ann Arbor. As long as OU gets that type of treatment, especially in the 2 weeks we have coming, I do not care about the Georgia game after that. I care about it, but I'm saying in relevance to this, I'm going all in on this and putting that away. Okay? And then go get ready to play Georgia as if it, and you do what you got to do, however you want to handle that if you think that you're going to play them again. But for OU, put their ass away. That has to be the energy. I'm not fooling around, and I don't want to, I'm not trying to do a stream after that game when I'm in the Dominican Republic. By the way, I will be streaming from there because my buddy's getting married. But when I'm in the Dominican Republic, I'm not trying to do a stream talking about, oh man, this one got away from us today because we were looking ahead to next week because we started Georgia prep. No, I'm sorry. We in a new conference. We need to set the tone that this will not be like the Big 12 days. We had a new conference. This is the perfect time to reset and assert dominance on your enemies. That would be OU, Arkansas, and A&M. By the way, Arkansas. I have not forgotten about Arkansas. They need to get their ass whooped too, but that's a whole different animal. Those three need to be on a special list because all they don't care about nothing else but beating Texas. They don't. And OU fans, deep down inside, kind of know that the only way that they can really salvage this season is by beating Texas because the back half of their schedule, they're cooked. Okay? So the only saving grace for them is beating us. So yeah, I'm with Anthony on this. Yes, Drew, we need to whoop that ass. I would start OU prep now because what you're going to see with Lebby and Latrell, now they're not going at the same tempo they did, and they're not running all the same stuff. But it's close enough. If Mississippi State's bad, I would start installing OU game plan now. And they still got to go to Auburn next week. I'm proud to know that Texas fans don't rush the field. Yeah, I do think that if you're a blue blood, it's different. That it is different. Um, Marley, what's up? You said I frequently visit Boulder. Yep, Fort Collins, Colorado State. Believe me, they hate to see me come around my Texas. I know. The Colorado State Rams fans want nothing to do with you, Marley. They don't want that smoke. Yeah, no, we haven't forgotten about Fayette now, brother. They on the list too. Don't be scared when y'all go down there. All right, we were scared. We were shook. I'll admit it. We were scared in 2021. I saw it. Not this time. We got to go. There's some get back there too. We got 3 people on the list that need an ass whooping, like a different type of ass whooping. Mississippi State damn near a bye week. Yeah, the Jordan Hare game for OU, that's going to be a tricky one too because they were favored to win today against Arkansas. Even though I bet Arkansas money line, I knew they were going to win. Um, but they people were still living off of Auburn beat Arkansas 48-10 last year. That shit don't matter now. I knew Arkansas with Taylor Green and them boys, they were gonna do their thing in Jordan Hare, and they did. So you got two 0-1 teams in the SEC now, OU and Auburn going head to head next week. That's going to be a very physical game. I agree with Travis. That's going to be a very, very physical game. Unfortunately, OU lost some guys tonight too. Um, I think it was Dolby that had his leg. Man, that was prayers up for that brother. I don't want to see anybody have to go through that. That was tough, but yeah, they lost some. I tell you guys, every time you go to a war, you lose soldiers. They lost some today. They need to start like 2021 and finish like 2022. Never let up. If you can put up 70, put up 70. I love it, Jordan. I love it. Sark has these teams marked. I agree. He did last year too. He got revenge on including Oklahoma State. Travis said we got to show a belt in hand. Agree, brother. I just talked about the Joshua KO, and he caught a nasty one in the first round too. Yeah, that was um, that was it was vicious. Short hook. Oh man, counter, beautiful. He was trying to stop him. Off topic, but I have no idea how good Ole Miss is. Yeah, their schedule was really, really. It's been light. Um, I told you I was going to bring up the stats. We'll talk about Ole Miss on SEC Connect. Right now Jackson Dart's up there with the Heisman guys as he should be, but they haven't. I mean, who did they play today? Who did Ole Miss play today? Georgia Southern, 52-13. Next week they play Kentucky, but Kentucky comes to Ole Miss, and then they go to South Carolina. I mean, it's not a crazy slate until they play at LSU. I don't think they have anything to worry about until they play at LSU. I think even Kentucky and South Carolina, they're better than them to where there's no worries. Um, Let me do this. Just wanted to look at some stats with y'all real quick. And while you're here, make sure you hit the like button, especially on the day of victory. All right, there we go. I mean, 111 total yards allowed is crazy. 8 of 20 for 43. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Shout out to my guy Colin Page, who I tweeted about, our walk on running back. That's when we just out here on a whole different level of energy. We got our running back. Walk on running back had 10 carries tonight. 10 carries tonight. Oh yeah, and we've covered every game too. Jared Gibson gets in the end zone again. Yeah, I was right. Jaden Blue had 25 carries. Ryan Niblett got in the end zone tonight. Um, Isaiah Bond had some early work, obviously on the big 56-yard catch. Matthew Golden, Wingo again, another touchdown. I mean, not any crazy numbers just because so many people are playing. I mean, Gunnar Helm, by the way, I want to say this about Gunnar Helm real quick. He's an NFL prospect at tight end. His body has come together very nicely. He's the blocking, the athleticism in the run game. I'm sorry, in the pass game, and him running with the football yards after catch. Um, he's been very reliable, good size. Gunnar Helm is a legit NFL prospect, and I'm not saying that off my. I am saying that off my own eyes, but I'm also saying that from some information that I've been seeing and people I've been talking to that are in that lane, and they like Gunnar. So yeah, Kendall Dolby was the one that went down on defense for OU. Um, John Ratcliffe, I agree with this comment. I have to say, Makuba has changed his secondary. His ability has freed up players to be free, and it shows. Yeah, he and Michael Taff, just amazing comms on the back end. We don't have problems lining up anymore. And like pre-snap, we've been pretty solid. Like there's been years where we've had to smoke timeouts and all this type of stuff because you see all this type of stuff and somebody's over here and they don't know what's going on. Those guys are very good at what they're doing of noticing certain things when there are spills, right? Or somebody breaks contain, they're normally there to clean it up. So um, I I'm very impressed with what they did. Man, F that yawn. I got. Oh man. I took I saw he got ejected. I don't know. I didn't see much of that game. I just saw there was a hell of a lot of points scored against TCU. Um and I saw TCU was throwing picks, but why did he got ejected because they were getting their ass whooped? Like what happened? I know SMU beat that ass, but like Malik, I believe, is now 4-0 at Duke. Did they finish the Duke game? That one got delayed, but they were up 38-10. Is Florida on that list? Nah, that we're. I mean, we may become rivals with Florida. Who knows? We've never played Florida in my life. I don't know if we ever played Florida. Um, but that's a game where it's kind of like more like that Michigan game where it's like two big brands going up against each other, and let's see what happens. I'm excited to interact with Florida fans. They were calling Colin Page the White Shadow. You know what was funny? I forgot who was it that tweeted me today when I said something about Colin Page, and they said he we need to give my man some accessories. Yeah, Colin Page out there looking like when you create a player and it's like you're just like F it, I'm going to the next screen. He don't even change his face mask. He's just a football player. Hey, but Colin Page, he can move. He's a good football player. Like the quality of the program, even the walk-ons, even the preferred walk-ons that are coming in here are much better quality players. I know, man. It's crazy being on this stream, not tripping about what we did on this and that with mid teams. Haven't felt this way since '09. It's an odd feeling. 100%. The whole defense plays with chemistry. They do. And I think that they're going to continue to find that chemistry on the defensive line too. Um, I know I noticed it tonight, but I was super excited to see Colin Simmons lining up on the outside hip of Alex January tonight because that was Duncanville's go-to bread and butter on their defensive line, winning 2 straight state championships. And to see that with Alex January and Colin Simmons lining up next to each other off the same hip, but in college is dope. Same thing with Colton Vasek and Ethan Burke on opposite ends that were the opposite ends on Westlake's state championship team. Those are really cool to see for me. Play foul, sack, and he'll sack and pick. Sorry for the yawn. Javion Cole, pick. He had a nice one. They tried to throw the flea flicker at the end. I don't know if somebody on their staff was trying to cover or what, but too little, too late, and we picked that. Yep, Malik is 4-0 at Duke and 6-0 as a starter. And Mark Vasquez, you got him. Quinn's not going anywhere right now. He's our guy. He's our guy. Yo, don't call my man. Y'all nicknamed him Default. My man, y'all call my man Default. The same way I call Jaden Blue Sonic. Colin Page, Default. He's just out there, man. Making it happen. La Flama Blanca. We had some cool sellies tonight. That one, Arch and Jared Gibson had a little selly. Yo, they're all in shambles. But you guys check in on all your friends as well. They need this is a time of we've been there. I've been there. But the difference though is that I and look, we're all fans. We all have a level of delusion, but the delusion that was coming from them, the pride was too much. And it's like we're later. It's one thing to say, "Oh, let's not overreact to week 1." Damn it, we're 4 games in. At this point, like if something's an issue, it's an issue. If your quarterback hasn't played well in any of the games, and you just magically expect him, but that's where they get the term, pseudo magic. You just magically expect him to turn it on. That's not how football works. People act like you just flip a switch. No, like you are what you've been. If that's what you've been putting out on tape for the most part, unless there's a switch or something. Or when I say switch, I mean like uh, coaching change or schematically or something where there's a very large approach or difference in approach of what we're doing, then cool. But other than that, nah. Roy said I don't have any OU friends. Damn. Damn. Well, I'm about to wrap up here. I think it's almost 1 o'clock. Um, I will tell you this. I'm going to sleep very well tonight. I'm going to sleep very well tonight. We do. We know that feeling. But I've never said no bullshit. That's one thing though, is if I know my team about to get smoked or I don't feel good about it, y'all have seen me before pick against Texas. Sadly, but I'm honest. I've told you when I think we're going to lose. A few years ago, I picked us to lose to Baylor. I think we actually ended up winning that game. But like, yeah, I picked us to like. I'm not like I've been honest, but you will never hear me say, but there's that Longhorn juju, or like, no, you're asking me football reasons. I'm gonna tell you whether or not I'm gonna tell you, hey, if we win the game, it's gonna probably be gonna be because of X, Y, Z, and we're gonna need a little bit of luck. But other than that, I'm gonna tell you, no, it's not. I don't like this matchup. We don't match up well here for football reasons, not these mythical. Oh, people come to Norman, they're so scared. Stop that, because that's what's holding you back from really seeing the real problems, and then you get surprised. I'm actually trying to help y'all a little bit. You don't flip the switch. You cast the spell. What is this, hocus pocus? You got the Sanderson sisters coming out there before the third quarter, before the fourth quarter, out there with singing songs. Got the Sanderson sisters up there doing Sooner magic tricks. Then they got, the late Toby Keith out there. They threw the music on there, and then like, come on, what are we doing? What are we doing? All right, we try to warn these guys. Yeah, I mean the cool people could take it. Just like there's cool Longhorn fans, like I trust me, I became an expert the last 13 years on dealing with the smoke. There ain't nothing you can tell me. I'm hardened, baby. Like they haven't been through it like we have, and now they about to see. Um, the Aggie almost losing to Bowling Green. All I wanted to say on that one was Bowling Green is not a bad football team. That was actually a trap game for them. We didn't get to touch on that on Bleacher Report. That game didn't make our docket, but Bowling Green, I think it was Penn State that they had. They were boxing Penn State up a little bit too. So that was a tough matchup for them. If I'm A&M fan, I'll just take surviving at this point. That was gonna show you. Oh man. Now we'll get Tran on here this week, especially going into SEC play. It's just been late, and the kids are getting older. He's got a lot going on, but we were very blessed to get Tran on here whenever we can. It's always easier doing the show with Tran too. Love you too, John. It's been years together here, man. Now we've definitely been dealing with we've been going through it, folks. So we know. Yeah, Bowling Green almost got Penn State. Bowling Green's not bad. They're not bad. That's why. I didn't give Tech. Look again. I know ball. I'm not gonna give A&M to. That's a game. Just survive, because we've already seen them almost get somebody else. But when we tell you also, like, hey, this team coming in here looks like a way better football team, you might be a little concerned. And people over here saying, "Nah, man, Sooner Magic, baby, it's gonna overcome." I don't care. They haven't seen it. They haven't seen a defense like OU. Okay, but y'all haven't seen a defense like theirs. Like there's a counter to everything, right? And nobody wanted to hear it. Heupel stepped on the brakes because there's still love there. Even though those people let him go for Lincoln, there's still love there. Or else, like even the last run Nico could have scored a touchdown on that run, and he went down. They showed mercy. Tennessee showed a lot of mercy today. That's all I'm gonna say. That's a good question, Jake. No Shapen. 30 plus is crazy for SEC opener, but you might be right. I don't know. I'd probably say 28 and a half would be like blind guess. I haven't looked at anything. If lines are out, y'all let me know. I haven't seen any lines, but it's a good question. And they may change that now that Shapen's out. I don't know if I've seen any. I haven't seen any lines. Yeah, no. For those for look, we all had different opinions year one with Sark. That is, um, I know I was frustrated at that time because I didn't think that the team was as bad as we should have been, but obviously he was building for the future, right? And looking to reestablish some things. D Train comment on that earlier, um, but regardless of how you felt then, it's I think one thing that Sark did do was make the program just so much more inclusive. Let's take away the factions. Let's take away the this person versus this person. Like even the way the quarterbacks are being handled. Like there's no if you know the program, there's no divisiveness of like it was like Major Applewhite versus Chris Sims where it divides the city of Austin. Like there's or under Tom Herman, you had the Charlie Strong people versus the Tom Herman. Like even when they went 5-7 or whatever, and they were coming back, and it was the get off the bus Bo moment. You know, however you feel about Bo Davis today, but when that happened and that needed to happen, and we talked about the culture challenges, that was the moment where it was like, hey, if you're here, you're here. You're a Sark guy. You're a Texas guy. No more factions. Right? I mean, look at the leaders, the captains today. Jade Barron, Jake Majors, David Benda. Those are Tom Herman people who are some of Sark's closest, trusted senior advisors on the team. Alfred Collins, Vernon Broughton, right? So I think collectively they've done a good job, and regardless of how you felt, like I give a lot of credit to the people that had more patience, 100% that saw the vision. I know I was inconsistent because I was frustrated. Was tired of losing, tired of being a program that wasn't playing to the potential. So no, I'm grateful for where we've come to. I'm grateful for what Sark has built here. 100%. But we needed that to happen. We also needed that to happen in the fan base. Right? Like, let's be honest. DKR atmosphere is a lot better now that we're winning. You could say front running, you could say whatever, but like the atmosphere is way better now. It is. Them closing in the stadium helps. A lot of things changed, but it's just a better environment. You have better people that understand what this program needed. NIL helped. NIL has helped immensely because Texas has resources and now they can use them like unapologetically. So yeah, it helps. I don't care. This is a business. And if you're like Oregon's not scared to use their Nike war chest, why should I be afraid to use our Texas boosters? Ohio State been running game for years. So yeah, we had to level up in the game and get people paid. Yes. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can pay people like A&M did and still have the culture and everything be wrong, and then it becomes a disaster, right? Like we saw what happened there. The difference is they've been doing this under structure and good coaching and planning. Like they're Texas is not like acting like it's not a business. They're very, very, but like they're handling it from a standpoint of we want you to be successful. We want you to go to the league. We want you to build your brand. You come to school here, you use those resources, player. Network with those boosters, build those connections, build your brand. But in return, as you're developing here, if you do your job and you help us win football games, you get everything you want. And the more we win, the more you win. Because you're coming here to be showcased. Oh, by the way, we have a very attractive scheme on both sides of the ball that are NFL friendly. Ding, ding, ding. So that y'all can keep eating afterwards and keep being developed afterwards. Our player development is so strong that you got dudes that have left this program to go elsewhere because they needed to play and are balling elsewhere. They're better players elsewhere. I could have swore I watched Terrence Brooks go head up with Isaiah Nayer on Friday. They both got better. Those are guys that were in our program. I talk about Malik all the time. I mean, my goodness, like the Nevada kids. You got guys that have left here, Hudson Card, the guys that have left here and are going off and they've gotten better because they were here. So there's several reasons, um, uh, you know, how things have improved. The thing is, Texas is just not afraid to say anymore. Like, yeah, we're in the business. Yes, we're in the business. Oh, we're paying people. Yeah, but it's that's a part of the process, an important part too. Nobody is shying away from that. But the proof is in the pudding. You can go talk to the players. Some of these schools that these dudes ended up with, they helped them get there. Because they're like, yo, that's a good fit for you. Trust me, you'll be in the 2 deep, you'll play. Probably even make it to the league. Much better. No, you were right, Drew. The Bo Davis one. Yeah, CDC has done everything. Give credit to the boosters. We've been saying, hey, we need upgrades here. We need this. We need that. They're doing it. They put the collective together properly. Nick Saban talked about collectives today when they asked him about what's going on with Florida. I don't know if anybody heard what Nick said. I don't know if anybody heard what Nick said when they asked him about the collective. or about Florida, and he said before he even got to the collective of Florida, he said, "Did they take advantage of everything they could have when Urban Meyer was there winning?" That was what he said. Did they make all the upgrades? Did they do everything they were supposed to do? And then when NIL came, were they ready? Did they have the collectives in place? Did they have game plans for how they were going to help the coaching staff get everything they needed and have resources properly in place? And those are real questions. Those are questions that Texas can answer emphatically yes. Or there's plans to not everything is done. I mean, I know there's still more that Texas wants to do, right? Um, but you got to give credit to everybody. They've done a good job. We're always quick to blame the boosters for meddling, but they have not hesitated when Sark and them are like, "Yo, we need XYZ to go get this person out the portal. We in a battle here. What can we do?" Nobody has shied away from making it happen, and that being the reason we didn't get somebody. So credit across the board. We're playing the game the right way now, and it's fun as a fan, and it makes more people want to give to the program because they see the product, and it makes you feel good. And you can take your kid. Everybody's happy. Tran talks about this all the time. You always hear Tran say, "I want my 5 stars to play like 5 stars." That's that's a big part of it. Mindfulness. Yep. Trust me, I'm appreciative of every W we get. I don't just scoff at 4-0. I don't just scoff at going undefeated in our non-conference, scoring 50 points at home every game. Like, this is the reason why I remember the 2000s so vividly, because I did appreciate those times. It was fun being good. It was fun winning the most games in the 2000s of any college football team. That was fun. And now to have that feeling back again as an adult with perspective and wisdom now that I didn't have when I was in high school and college when we were going through this, yeah, it's a lot more dope. It's actually more dope now. Nah, there's no need. Play him. If he can play, he needs to play. He's trying to build. He's also, again, he's got some individual goals as well. He needs to, if he can play. If they're already saying he's feeling way better and all that, mm-mm. Especially considering there's a bye after Mississippi State. Because then you're talking about him going almost a whole month without playing football. If he doesn't play next week, and then there's a bye afterwards too. No, play him. If he can play, he needs to play. I think leadership let boosters meddle too much. Our leadership over football and university is stronger willed. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I agree with that. We got our swag back. Yes, we did. Yeah, I agree, Bones. Um it it felt strange for a little bit, but like honestly, like you said, it's deserved. Like I'm watching Texas as objectively as I can, right? I'm not fully objective. I can't be when it comes to Texas, but as much as I just take my put my football hat on and say, look, is this the number one team in the country? Is this the best team in the country I've seen? Yes, I feel that way. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Texas fan. I watched Ohio State. They got they're good, but they got holes. we know Oregon has had their struggles. Georgia was in a knife fight against Kentucky a couple weeks ago. They got to go to Bama next week. We got to see what Bama's going to do. Bama was struggling with USF. We haven't shown any of those chinks. And then, you know, you got teams like Ole Miss who we don't know yet. Tennessee took a big step forward today in my book, going to Norman and winning after how they've looked. Tennessee is definitely one of the better teams in the country for sure. So, but when I think of just pound for pound, we've allowed 22 points and only 2 touchdowns this season. And what you're doing on the offensive side of the ball with 2 different quarterbacks, yeah, Texas is definitely number 1 team so far. Yeah, he needs to be back. You're not sold on Will Howard? We'll see. I mean, he's eventually going to have to get tested. I agree with this, and we'll kind of close it off here. Health is wealth. Health is wealth with our team. So let's I'm gonna close out here. I appreciate you guys so very much. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, the whole bit. I am ready to get some sleep. Got some NFL stuff tomorrow, and I am gonna get back to making Cowboys content. I've been slacking there, but the Cowboys stuff is coming. We play Baltimore tomorrow. We'll see how we do. But want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Autograph. Download the App Store, Google Play. It is free to use. It helps this channel out. Fanatic24 is the promo code for entry into the app. It is free, but you do need an entry code. Use Fanatic24. Helps me out. What's cool about it, anything you read, listen to, watch as a fan, whether it's Texas, whether it's college football, NFL, college, whatever, you watch it, you listen, you get points. You get actual credit for doing something you're already gonna do, for fanning out over teams you're already gonna do anyway, and get credit for it, and get access to tickets, giveaways, merch, the whole bit. They have a thing on there called True Fan Pricing. Some of the best ticket prices I've seen out there, especially without any of the additional fees. So take advantage of today. Sign up for Autograph if you haven't already. But y'all, appreciate you guys so very much. Thanks for being on here after hours, FP After Dark. It's been fun. Horns always up. Hook 'em.